John is managing a 3-month project to enhance a financial system and is using Earned Value Management (EVM) to report progress. He wants to understand if the positive Schedule Performance Index (SPI) will offset the Cost Performance Index (CPI). So he recalculates the estimate at completion EAC by incorporating both SPI and CPI into the formula. EAC equals AC plus BAC CPI asterisk SPI. Using the provided values, the new EAC is calculated as $169,457.14, helping John get a more accurate forecast of the project's completion cost. Defines a project according to the Project Management Institute (PMI), explaining that a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. The emphasis is on the temporary nature of projects, meaning they have a defined beginning and end, and the goal of producing something distinct, which sets projects apart from routine operations. Understanding this definition helps clarify the purpose of project. That stakeholders are people or organizations whose interests may be positively or negatively impacted by a project or its product. Stakeholders can include departments within or outside the organization and can have various roles, from being actively involved in the project to serving in an advisory capacity. Understanding stakeholders is crucial for project success, as their support, concerns, and influence significantly affect the project's progress and outcome, making it essential to manage their expectations and engagement throughout the project life cycle. Examples of departments within an organization that act as stakeholders in a project, including the project manager, portfolio manager, program manager, functional manager, and operational manager. Each of these roles plays a critical part in ensuring the success of a project by providing oversight, guidance, resource management, and strategic alignment. Their involvement helps ensure the project aligns with the organization's goals, manages risks effectively, and delivers value. Understanding the roles of these internal stakeholders is essential for project managers to facilitate collaboration, resolve conflicts, and drive the project toward successful completion. Stakeholders outside the organization are individuals or entities that have an interest in the project but are not part of the internal team. These include consultants who provide expert advice, sellers who supply goods and services, taxpayers who fund public projects, banks that provide financing, and other financial institutions that may be impacted by the project's success or failure. It is important to understand their influence and expectations, as they can significantly affect the project's outcome and decision-making process. Project management is both a science and an art. The science involves a systematic process of planning, organizing, and managing project work to efficiently and effectively achieve the desired results, while the art focuses on how the project manager applies interpersonal skills such as influencing, strategizing, and team management to motivate the team, resolve conflicts, and ensure successful project execution. Project management approaches can be categorized into 3 main types: predictive, agile, and hybrid. The predictive approach emphasizes detailed upfront planning, where requirements and scope are defined early in the project, and comprehensive plans are created for cost, schedule, and risk management. In contrast, the agile approach focuses on flexibility and iterative development, allowing requirements to evolve based on continuous stakeholder feedback. The hybrid approach combines elements of both predictive and agile methodologies, typically following structured stages like requirement gathering, analysis, design, build, testing, and delivery, to balance planning with adaptability and ensure efficient project execution. 3 project management approaches: predictive, agile, and hybrid. Predictive works best when the project scope is well defined upfront, while agile is more suitable when the scope is emerging and requires flexibility, with work managed in smaller increments, making it change-driven or adaptive. The hybrid approach combines both, using predictive where requirements are stable and agile where adaptability is needed, as shown in the agile cycle of planning, designing, coding, testing, releasing, and gathering feedback. The hybrid approach combines elements of both predictive and agile methods, making it flexible to adapt based on the project's needs and organizational environment. It allows structured upfront planning like the predictive approach while also incorporating iterative cycles of design, development, implementation, and evaluation from Agile, ensuring both stability and adaptability. Program management is about grouping related projects together so an organization can manage them in a coordinated way. This approach emphasizes the interdependencies between projects, ensures the intended benefits are realized, helps reduce risks, and improves overall management. Beyond executing individual projects, program management also involves the program manager's role in coordinating and overseeing activities to align everything with organizational goals. Organizational Project Management, or OPM, acts as a framework that guides project, program, and portfolio management in alignment with organizational strategy. It provides direction on how portfolios, programs, and projects should be prioritized, managed, executed, and measured so that organizations can achieve their strategic goals and maximize benefits. Essentially, it ensures that every level of work, from individual projects to the overall portfolio, is aligned with the larger organizational objectives. It highlights that any change in organizational strategy directly impacts portfolios, programs, projects, and operational work. This means both ongoing initiatives and future efforts must realign with the updated strategy to ensure the organization continues moving toward its goals effectively. The Project Management Office, or PMO, is a department within an organization responsible for ensuring compliance with project governance and standardizing project management practices. It provides oversight and consistency across projects and can take different forms, supportive by offering guidance and templates, controlling by monitoring and enforcing standards, or directive by directly managing projects. The Project Management Office, or PMO, plays a vital role in guiding how projects are managed within an organization. It can take a supportive role by offering templates, best practices, and training without enforcing strict control. In a controlling role, it ensures compliance with organizational standards and methodologies through audits and reviews. At its most authoritative level, the directive role involves directly managing projects, assigning project managers, and making critical decisions to align work with business goals. The image of team collaboration emphasizes that a PMO is not only about governance but also about fostering teamwork, communication, and alignment to drive project success. A supportive project management office focuses on enabling project teams by providing policies, methodologies, templates, and lessons learned that help guide project execution. It acts as a resource hub, offering valuable tools and knowledge without enforcing heavy oversight. In this role, the PMO has only a low level of control over projects, allowing teams more flexibility and independence while still benefiting from organizational best practices. This approach ensures consistency and efficiency while encouraging collaboration and shared learning across the organization. A controlling project management office takes on a stronger role by not only offering support and guidance but also ensuring that projects comply with organizational policies and standards. Unlike a supportive PMO, it exercises a moderate level of control, requiring teams to align their work with defined processes and practices. This balance allows for flexibility while still maintaining oversight to improve consistency, accountability, and overall project success. It acts as a checkpoint that ensures projects remain on track and aligned with the broader goals of the organization. ChatGPT said, A directive project management office takes full responsibility for managing projects by assigning project managers and being directly accountable for the results. In this role, the PMO has a high level of control, making key decisions, driving execution, and ensuring that projects are fully aligned with organizational objectives. It is the most authoritative type of PMO where oversight, accountability, and leadership are centralized to achieve consistent outcomes and maximize project success. Project Management Office also plays a strategic role by managing interdependencies across projects, programs, and portfolios to ensure smooth coordination. It analyzes project data to determine whether the organization is meeting its strategic objectives and provides necessary resources to support execution. In some cases, it can recommend the termination of projects that no longer add value or align with organizational goals. At the same time, it monitors compliance with established processes to maintain consistency and efficiency. Acting as a central management hub, the PMO connects projects, programs, and portfolios to strategy, ensuring that every effort contributes to the overall success of the organization. The Project Management Office also supports organizations by capturing lessons learned and making them accessible for future projects, creating a cycle of continuous improvement. It provides ready-to-use templates for key project documents such as work breakdown structures, user stories, or communication management plans, which help standardize practices across teams. Beyond templates, the PMO offers governance and guidance, ensuring projects follow the right direction and align with business needs. It also acts as a central point for communication, making project information easily available to stakeholders. In many cases, the PMO is more heavily involved during the initiation phase of a project, setting up the foundation for success before handing over execution responsibilities to project teams. Continued role of the Project Management Office. The PMO ensures representation on the Change Control Board, acts as a stakeholder in key decisions, and helps prioritize projects so that resources are directed toward the most valuable initiatives. The illustration reflects collaboration and strategic decision-making, showing how the PMO supports alignment across teams. The relationship between operations and projects. Operational work is ongoing and ensures that the business and its systems continue to function effectively, while project work is temporary and comes to an end once its objectives are achieved. Although they are different in nature, both are closely linked. Once a project is completed, its deliverables are handed over to operations so that the benefits of the project can be fully integrated into the organization. This smooth transition ensures that the outcomes of projects create lasting value within ongoing business activities. The relationship between operations and projects is two-way. Projects may create new products or services that are later used in operations, and at the same time, the need to change or improve operational work can trigger the start of a new project. This ongoing exchange allows organizations to maintain smooth daily functioning while also adapting, improving, and driving innovation. Every organization has its own unique culture and attributes, and governance is established to align with and support those characteristics. Governance plays a crucial role in shaping how decisions are made, how accountability is maintained, and how the organization adapts to its environment. It both influences and is influenced by project governance, organizational structure, and the overall business context. At its core, governance can be viewed at two levels: organizational governance, which provides direction and oversight for the entire enterprise, and project governance, which ensures that individual projects are managed in a way that supports organizational goals. Organizational governance focuses on setting the policies and procedures that guide how work is carried out to achieve strategic goals and support effective decision-making. It ensures that the organization operates in alignment with both external requirements such as government or regulatory standards and internal standards established by leadership. Typically, a board of directors provides oversight to confirm that all work across the organization complies with these expectations. Internal governance also covers policies for managing portfolios, programs, projects, and operations. In practice, governance can exist at multiple levels within an organization to provide structure, accountability, and consistency. Project governance is established to guide how individual projects are managed and delivered. It is determined by project managers in alignment with established frameworks such as the eco-process domain. Project governance defines the level of authority a project manager holds and involves setting up or enforcing processes and policies in critical areas like risk management, resource allocation, communications, and change management. By doing so, it ensures that each project operates within a structured framework that supports consistency, accountability, and alignment with organizational goals. Organizational structure defines how a project manager works within a company. It determines who they approach for resources, how communication flows, and how authority and responsibilities are shared. In a functional structure, the project manager depends heavily on department heads for approvals and resources. In a project-oriented structure, the project manager has more authority and independence to make decisions directly. In a matrix structure, authority is shared between functional managers and project managers, which can provide balance but also create communication challenges. As shown in the diagram, the project manager interacts with senior management, finance, HR, legal, marketing, and other departments, making the structure critical in shaping how effectively projects are managed and delivered. In a functional structure, organizations are grouped by areas of specialization such as accounting, marketing, or manufacturing. This is one of the most common types of structures, and it's easy to recognize because work and authority are divided into clear departments. Projects in this type of structure typically stay within a single department and don't cross over into others. For example, an accounting project will usually remain within accounting, while a marketing project stays within marketing. That's why, when you hear functional, it's helpful to think of the word silo because each department operates as its own separate unit. While this structure creates strong expertise within each area, it can also make communication and collaboration between departments more challenging. A project-oriented structure, also known as a projectized organization, the entire company is organized around projects rather than departments. Here, the project manager has full authority and control over the project, and all team members are directly assigned to them. Unlike in a functional structure, the focus is entirely on delivering projects, and resources are dedicated solely to that work. Team members in this setup complete only project-related tasks, and once the project ends, they don't return to a permanent department because there isn't one. This gives the project manager more independence and streamlines decision-making, but it can also create challenges when projects end, as staff need to be reassigned or released. Organizations blend elements of both functional and project-oriented structures. This means that team members report to two managers, their functional manager and the project manager. For example, an employee in the IT department may still belong to that department, but at the same time, they are assigned to a project and report to the project manager for project-related work. Communication flows to both managers, which can create a balance of expertise and project focus. While this structure gives the project manager access to resources and skills across departments, it can also cause conflicts because employees might receive competing priorities from managers. The strength of the matrix structure lies in its flexibility and ability to use resources more efficiently, but it requires clear communication and coordination to avoid confusion. Team members in this type of setup often balance to responsibilities. On one side, they continue to perform their normal departmental duties under their functional manager, and on the other, they also contribute to project work under the project manager. This dual responsibility allows organizations to make better use of specialized skills while still ensuring progress on projects. However, it can sometimes place extra pressure on employees since they are accountable to managers at the same time. The success of this structure really depends on clear communication, cooperation between managers, and the ability of team members to manage priorities effectively. Organizational process assets are the internal resources and knowledge that organizations build over time to support their projects. They include things like processes, procedures, and policies that guide how work should be carried out, ensuring consistency and compliance across different projects. They also cover organizational knowledge repositories, such as databases, lessons learned, templates, and historical project records, which provide valuable references for future projects. These assets make project work more efficient because teams don't need to start from scratch. Instead, they can rely on proven methods and documented experience. In practice, this means team members handle their normal departmental responsibilities while also drawing on these assets to complete project work more effectively. Organizational process assets, or OPAs, guide how projects are carried out within an organization. They are made up of two main components: processes, procedures, and policies, along with organizational historical repositories. The processes, procedures, and policies include established guidelines that influence project areas such as quality, procurement, resource allocation, change control, compliance, and safety, ensuring consistency and structure. Organizational historical repositories, on the other hand, capture lessons learned, best practices, and historical data, acting as a knowledge base for future projects. While projects may suggest improvements to increase efficiency, these elements are usually managed by the project management office or governance bodies. Together, OPAs provide a framework that supports effective project execution and promotes continuous organizational learning. Organizational process assets (OPAs) guide project management through processes, procedures, and policies, along with organizational historical repositories. Processes and policies provide standards for project execution, while historical repositories capture lessons learned and best practices. These knowledge bases are updated by each project and shared across the organization, helping improve efficiency, consistency, and future project success. Organizational process assets (OPAs) include valuable resources and references that support project work and decision-making. They cover items such as retrospective findings, work breakdown structures, resource records, and backlogs. OPAs also include project management plans, benchmarks, essential project documents, and various reports. These assets capture both the planning and execution aspects of projects, ensuring that knowledge and practices are preserved and can be reused to improve future project performance. Organizational process assets (OPAs) also cover a wide range of project-related resources that help ensure efficiency and consistency. They include configuration management elements such as file structures, naming conventions, baselines, and templates for project documents. Financial data, including budgets and actual costs from completed projects, are also part of OPAs, along with issue logs and defect records that capture past challenges. In addition, OPAs provide useful metrics, project management plans, and baselines, as well as key project documents like risk registers, stakeholder registers, and network diagrams. Together, these assets preserve organizational knowledge and provide reliable references to support future projects. Enterprise environmental factors, or EFs, are conditions that influence how projects are planned and executed. They are similar to organizational process assets in that they provide context for project work, but unlike OPAs, they are usually beyond the control of the project team. EEFs are external influences, often including governmental regulations, industry standards, and organizational rules that must be followed. These factors shape how projects are managed, ensuring compliance and alignment with the broader environment in which the organization operates. Enterprise environmental factors (EEFs) also include internal and resource-related aspects that affect project management. Internally, EEFs cover the organization's structure, culture, systems, and even its geographic location, all of which influence how projects are carried out. Resource-related EEFs focus on the availability of technology and skilled resources, both internal and pre-approved external, that can be assigned to projects. This includes documentation of their abilities and expertise, ensuring the right resources are matched to the right tasks. Together, these factors shape project execution by defining the environment and resources available to the team. Enterprise environmental factors, or EEFs, which influence how projects are managed. These factors include systems and tools within an organization that guide project work. For example, a resource management system helps allocate people and materials, a procurement system manages purchasing and vendor interactions, and a quality management system ensures compliance with standards. While project teams cannot directly control EEFs, they play a major role in shaping project processes, efficiency, and outcomes. The Project Management Information System, or PMIS, which is considered part of the enterprise environmental factors. A PMIS provides the tools and systems that help project teams plan, organize, and execute their work more effectively. It includes automated tools such as scheduling software, which makes it easier to track timelines and deadlines. It also incorporates configuration management systems to ensure that all project documents and versions are consistent and properly controlled. Additionally, PMIS supports collaboration through shared workspaces that allow teams to store files, share information, and use distribution or work authorization software. Overall, PMIS serves as a central hub that streamlines communication, coordination, and project execution. A Project Management Information System, or PMIS, which further supports project efficiency and control. One key feature is time tracking software, which helps monitor team productivity and ensures project activities align with schedules. Another element is procurement management software, which streamlines the process of acquiring goods and services, making supplier interactions and purchasing more efficient. PMIS also includes repositories for historical information, providing valuable records from past projects that can guide decision-making, risk management, and planning for future initiatives. Altogether, PMIS integrates different functions such as operations, finance, asset management, and project oversight into a single system, creating a structured environment for managing complex projects. The concept of constraints in project management. Constraints are the limitations or restrictions that a project must work within, and unlike assumptions, they are usually easier to identify because they are clearly defined by management or the project sponsor. Common examples of constraints include schedule, cost, risk, scope, quality, resources, and customer satisfaction. Each of these factors sets boundaries on how the project can be executed and what trade-offs may be required. It is also important to note that management plays a key role in setting the priority of these constraints, either directly or indirectly. For example, in some projects, cost may be the highest priority, while in others, customer satisfaction or quality may come first. Recognizing and balancing these constraints is critical for successful project delivery. Emphasizes how prioritizing constraints plays a crucial role in project management. Once management sets the priority of constraints such as cost, schedule, or quality, that prioritization guides the planning process, helps in evaluating the potential impact of changes, and provides a clear basis to measure project success. However, it is also important to recognize that any change made to the project plan often affects multiple constraints simultaneously. For example, extending the schedule may increase costs, or improving quality might require additional resources. This interconnectedness highlights the need for careful evaluation of every change to ensure the project remains aligned with its priorities and can still achieve successful outcomes. This slide introduces two important economic measures used for project selection: return on investment (ROI) and present value (PV). ROI helps determine the potential profitability of a project by comparing the benefits gained to the costs incurred. It provides a simple way to understand whether an investment is worthwhile. Present value, on the other hand, looks at the value today of future cash flows. Since money loses value over time due to inflation and other factors, PV helps assess how much future returns are worth in today's terms. It is calculated using the formula present value equals future value / 1 plus interest rate time. Together, ROI and PV allow organizations to evaluate projects not just based on expected returns, but also on the timing and real value of those returns, helping ensure better investment decisions. This slide explains net present value (NPV) as an important economic measure for project selection. NPV represents the present value of total benefits, such as income or revenue, after subtracting the costs over different time periods. If the NPV is positive, it indicates that the project is profitable, and among multiple options, the project with the highest NPV is usually chosen. The visuals here also highlight the concept, showing that NPV is like climbing the steps of value creation, where each step represents the increasing benefits of a project. Internal rate of return, or IRR, is an important measure for project selection. When a company has multiple projects to consider, it compares the expected returns from each option and selects the one with the highest return. The IRR is essentially the discount rate or interest rate at which the present value of a project's inflows, meaning revenues, becomes equal to the present value of its outflows, meaning costs. In other words, it is the rate at which the project breaks even in terms of value, and the higher the IRR, the more attractive the project becomes for investment. Payback period refers to the amount of time an organization needs to recover its initial investment in a project before it begins generating profit. A shorter payback period is generally preferred, as it indicates quicker recovery of funds and lower risk. Cost-benefit analysis, on the other hand, evaluates whether a project is worth pursuing by comparing the expected costs against the potential benefits. The outcome is expressed as a benefit-cost ratio, either in decimal or ratio form, which helps decision-makers determine if the benefits outweigh the costs and whether the project adds real value to the organization. Cost-benefit analysis helps organizations decide whether a project is worth pursuing by comparing its costs with the expected benefits. A ratio greater than 1 indicates that the benefits outweigh the costs, making the project financially attractive. A ratio of less than 1 shows that the costs are higher than the benefits, suggesting the project may not be viable. A ratio equal to 1 means the costs and benefits are balanced, indicating that the project would neither create a gain nor a loss in value. Economic value added, or EVA, focuses on determining whether a project generates returns that exceed the costs required to initiate it, making it a measure of true value creation for the organization. A positive EVA indicates that the project is adding real economic value beyond its expenses. Opportunity cost, on the other hand, highlights the value of the alternative that must be given up when choosing one project over another. Unlike other measures, it does not require calculations but serves as a reminder that every choice involves sacrificing the potential benefits of the next best option. Sunk costs are expenses that have already been incurred and cannot be recovered, which means they should not influence the decision of whether to continue or abandon a project. When making choices about troubled projects, it is important to ignore sunk costs and focus only on future costs and benefits. The law of diminishing returns explains that after a certain point, adding more resources such as manpower, equipment, or time will not result in a proportional increase in productivity. In fact, efficiency tends to decline, making it critical for organizations to balance inputs wisely to achieve optimal results. Working capital is a key financial indicator that shows the liquidity and financial health of an organization by measuring the difference between its current assets and current liabilities. Essentially, it reflects the money that a company has readily available to support its day-to-day operations and to invest in new opportunities, including projects. A positive working capital indicates that the organization has sufficient resources to meet its short-term obligations and still invest in growth, while a negative working capital could signal potential financial challenges. When selecting projects, organizations often consider working capital as it directly impacts their ability to fund and sustain those initiatives.